Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the last part, we spoke about the graph of the sine function. And in this part, we are going to speak about how to graph the cosine function. And as we did in the last part, for the cosine function, we need to find the period, amplitude, and then sketch the graph of the y function. Starting with the basic properties for the function y equal to cosine x. Y equal to cosine x. The domain for this function is given to be all the real numbers from minus infinity to plus infinity. And the range will be between -1 to 1. The range for this function is between -1 and 1. And the period, which is given as 1 cycle for the cosine function, is between 0 and 2 pi. This is 1 period is equal to 2 pi. So the period for cosine is 2 pi. And we mean by the period is that the values of the function cosine will be repeated again and again every 2 pi. So this part of the figure will be repeated every 2 pi. And the graph of the cosine x will be symmetric with respect to the y-axis. Symmetry or symmetric means that the y it can be considered as mirror for the figure. So we have left reflection to the right, or right is a reflection to the left. And the x-intercept at this point where the graph is intersecting with the x-axis. This will be the odd multiple of pi over 2. For the sine function, we said that the x-intercept were the even or just multiple of pi, 1 pi. It can be 0, 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. These are the x-intercepts for the sine function. But for cosine, it is the odd multiple of pi over 2. It means pi over 2, 1 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2. These are the x-intercepts for the cosine function. In general, if y is given to be a cosine x, a cosine, we multiply the function by a. The amplitude will be given by the absolute value of a. And for this function, the range r will be between minus a and a. This will be the range for this function. For the first one, there is no coefficient, means it is 1. So we take the range, or the range was the between -1 and 1. But if you multiply by a, it will be between minus a and a. And the period, if we multiplied x by b, then the period for this function of y equal to cosine bx is 2 pi divided by b. 2 pi divided by the absolute value of b, the coefficient of x, or the multiple of x there. So in this table, we can speak about the general form of the function. The function is given to be y equal to a cosine of b. The amplitude is absolute value of a. Period is 2 pi over absolute value of b. And these are examples. Y equal to 2 cosine 3x. The amplitude is absolute value of 2 to the coefficient. And period is 2 pi over 3. If y equal to minus 3 cosine 2x over 3, then the amplitude is given to be absolute value of minus 3, which is equal to 3, and period is 2 pi over the coefficient of x, which is 2 over 3. That will give me 3 pi. So this is the amplitude and the period. Period is equal to 3 pi. Let's take one example or two, how to graph the cosine function. Example number one. It's a graph y equal to cosine x. This is the basic function. I will graph this one, then I will take some coefficient for the function or for the angle x. Now for this function, we have number one. Let's find a and b. A is the coefficient of the function there. Y equal to, this is a. Since there is no coefficient written, means 1. So a is equal to 1. And this is b. No number means 1. So this is the basic function, and we can say that the amplitude is equal to absolute value of a that is equal to 1. And number to the period b is equal to 2 pi divided by b. B is equal to 1, so divided by 1 is equal to 2 pi. This is one period. Now to graph the function, I will use the quadrantal angles. And to use the quadrantal angles, we have to divide by the period by 4. I will find something called delta, that is v over 4, which is equal to 2 pi over 4. This will be pi over 2. So I have x, y, start with 0. So x is equal to 0. Then 1 delta, 2 delta, 3 delta, and 4 delta. Now, 1 delta means pi over 2. 2 delta, 2 multiplied by pi over 2 equal to 1 pi. So this is 1 pi. 3 delta will be 3 multiplied by pi over 2. And 4 delta will be 2 pi. So these are the quadrantal angles in one whole period. Now for x equal to 0, cosine of 0 is equal to 1. So y will be 1. Number 2, cosine of pi over 2 is equal to 0. So the second point will be 0. Second value for y. Third one, cosine of pi equal to minus 1. So this is minus 1. And last one, or the fourth one, cosine 3 pi over 2 equal to 0. So this will be 0. And the last one will be 2 pi, which is again 1. And you can say in general, for the values of cosine, it will be start with a, then 0, minus a, 0, and a again. So the sketch for this function for one period. we have the point R 0, the angles, then we have pi over 2, then we have pi 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. These are the values for x. And for y, it will be between, let's say, 1 and -1. When it is 0, y will be 1. If x equal to pi over 2 means this is 0. If it is pi, will be -1. If it is 3 pi, 0. And if it is 2 pi, will be 1 again. So the function is like this. This is the cosine for one full period. This is one full period. 2 pi. So again, it starts with a minus a and a, which is equal to 1 in this function. Let's have another example. Graph y equal to -2 cosine x. If we find that a, which is this number, is equal to -2. B is equal to this number, which is equal to 1. So number 1, amplitude equal to absolute value of a, which is equal to absolute value of -2, that will be 2. The amplitude. Number 2, the period. B equal to 2 pi divided by 1. That will be 2 pi. And to write the quadrantal, divide this period by 4. Find delta, that will be b divided by 4, or it is 2 pi divided by 4, which is equal to pi over 2. So this is x, y, 0, then 1 delta, 2 delta, 3 delta, and 4 delta. So 1 delta is pi over 2. 2 delta will be pi. 3 delta is 3 pi over 2. 4 delta is 2 pi. And for cosine function, since we use these quadrantal angles, the value for y will be a 0 minus a 0 and a again. And a is given to be -2. Then 0. Then minus a, that will be 2. -2 will give me +2. Then 0 and -2. These will be the values of the variable y, or the function. So we have 0. Then we have 1 delta, which is pi over 2. 1 pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And y, start with minus 2. This is minus 1, minus 2. This is 1 and 2. So this is the first point. Then we have 0. Then we have 2, positive 2, 0 again, and minus 2. And the graph for this, just connect between this point, we'll have something. And it is a curve, as we said before. It is a curve. It is not a straight line. This is not correct. For the sine or cosine function, we have a curve. So this is the graph of this function y equal to minus 2 cosine of x.